Hi, I'm Melissa from the Yarn Barn, and today I'd like to answer a question that was posed by a viewer who recently has obtained a new to them loom. And this person said, this loom has an apron, and I'm not familiar with that, so I don't know how to tie the warp to it. So let's look at that. So first of all, what is an apron? It is an intermediary, you can think of it as, that connects the warp to the beam. So either the warp beam in the back or the cloth beam in the front. It can be a couple of different things. The thing that probably most people are familiar with is not an actual apron, but apron cords. So these cords connect the apron bar to, in this case, the warp beam. But there's also something that's actually called an apron, and that's this, which is a piece of cotton canvas that is attached to, in this case, the warp beam, but it's also in the front, in the cloth beam, on this Leclerc Nihilus 2. So let's look at how it works and how to tie up to it. So right now we are standing at the back of the Nihilus 2. So this is the back beam. Down here you can see the warp beam, and here's your warp. Here's the castle. So the apron is a piece of canvas fabric, cotton fabric, that is stapled or tacked to the rotating beam. And then on the other end, it has a sewn casing. And then a bar, an apron bar, is inserted into that casing. This one's metal, sometimes they're wood. The important thing about installing this in the first place is that it's important that the apron sits square, so that when you've got the bar in, it is parallel to the back beam and it's parallel to the rotating beam. And because that's critical to keeping the tension even. So make sure you get that set up correctly. Then the second question is, how do you tie your warp to it? Well, it's got these little slits that give you access, kind of a little peep of the bar in there, but you couldn't really tie these through these slits onto the bar. So what you do is you lash a second bar to the first bar. And there are a couple of different ways you can do it. What we've done here is a continuous length of cord. This is a synthetic cord, very tightly twisted, hard wearing, it's not going to stretch. You could also use a tightly twisted cotton. The key is that you want to have equal support all the way across, both the support provided by this cloth apron, which gives support all the way across for the first apron bar, and then these cords need to provide support all the way across for the second bar. So in what we've set up here is a series of loops of one continuous cord. And the kind of the fast and dirty way to do it, which you can do, is to tie here, do a series of loops, and then just slide this bar into the loops. And that works okay, but it doesn't grip this bar very well. And even if you get it set up correctly, so this bar is parallel to this bar at the beginning, with just a loop that goes over, these can slide around, the bar can completely slide out of the loops. So it's not ideal. It's fast, but it's not ideal. A better way to do it is to use these lark's head knots. And I can show you how to do it. It's a little bit slower, but totally worth it. So let's say that this loop here, if you just did a simple loop but wanted to do a lark's head knot. So here's the loop. You pull this back out of the way, take your fingers, put them in between, then bring them up and together. So you can kind of see there's a little peep of the loop there, and then the two loops, one over my thumb, one over my pointer finger, and then I simply pull these through, and that loop that was peeping out is now right there. And so this is very snug. It grips with 2 loops instead of just 1 and is very stable. So once you get all of these, and then you would slide the bar into that. And so you could do lark's head knots all the way up and down. Again, that's going to take time. And I'm not going to lie, you're also going to have to then go back and kind of even things up so that this bar and this bar are parallel. But once you get it set up, this is such a good gripper that you won't have to adjust it again. So that's how you get that set up. But there's yet a couple of other options. One option is if you don't want to do the continuous length, you can just tie a loop. So connecting this to this, just a single loop of cord that would go like this, that would connect them, and just run one for each slit. And that has some of the same problems that I just described, so throwing in a lark's head knot there is not a bad idea. I've seen this most often on like looms that are at museums. They seem like they're almost always tied that way, with a series of cotton cords making loops. Another option is to use this cord, which is Texsolve cord. Why this works easier than the cotton cord is that with the cotton cord, you're going to be tying knots, and that just brings in, if you tie it a little bit tighter, this loop is going to be shorter than the next one. And that can be a problem because you do want this supported evenly. With the Texsolve cord, because it's made of a non-stretchable material and it's made with these consistent loops that are all exactly the same size, once you decide what length you want, you count the number of loops, and then you can cut that cord over and over again just by counting the loops. So I haven't counted this, but let's say this is 18 loops. You can just cut 18 loops over and over again of this material, and then you know they're all going to be the same length. Now, so there are kind of a couple ways you can tie this on. One is this is sometimes used with pegs. So you could put this as a loop around and then put a peg connecting the 2 ends of the cord together. And that works fine, but you don't really need to go to the expense of having pegs or the risk of that causing a little bit of a bump or a bulge that could affect your tension. Probably a subtle risk, but still. If you're going to use the Texsolve cord, I'm going to use a little shorter length here, and you don't want to use cords, I can show you how to do that. So the first step's easy. Just take one end and poke it through the hole in the other end. Now you're looking for the first stable hole. This little knot here, you want to make sure that knot is stable. If I'd cut these legs very short, then I would have gone to the next hole. But this one's fine. This is a stable knot, or stable, yeah, right there, so you're good. And if you pull, then very, very strong. Now on the other end though, how do you get that to work without a peg? It's actually not hard. Again, you go for the first or last stable loop, and then take a pinch of the cord and push that through. And then for a minute, you'll have something that looks like that. And then you know you're doing it right. That loop is going to disappear, and this one is the one that you're going to be working with. So you're going to pull on that until it kind of pops through. And so this now will tighten around whatever you put it around, and in this case, it's an apron bar. So once you know how long you want this to be, you can cut that length and just set one up for each slit, and you're good. So I hope that has made it clear that an apron bar does the exact same thing as apron cords, and just by lashing on a second apron bar, then it becomes very familiar to most people who are maybe more comfortable with using apron cords. But if you have an old loom and you are thinking you'd like to have an apron on it, or If you haven't a loom with an apron that could use a replacement, Leclerc does make these aprons in a variety of different widths. So if you need one, give us a call and we'll see what is the closest width that is available.